Yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, Season 3, Episode 20, man. We are back here. It is Thursday, March 9th, 2023, man. And of course, we want to start this off by saying rest in peace to Notorious B.I.G., man. Definitely got to get that out on Biggie Day, man. R.I.P. Biggie. Also, man, we are here. You know to follow me on Twitter at BarbChairScott on Twitter and Instagram. Follow this great media network, HNB Media, at HNB Media TV on Twitter and at HNB Media on Instagram. Follow the Barber's Chair Network at Barber's Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon now, patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network. You can also subscribe to the, all three tiers, man. We've got a whole bunch of stuff dropping, starting off for our off-season coverage for everybody out there, man, for the Chicago Bears. So we're dropping the first of 10 podcasts starting on Monday. So look forward to that. We're going to do our free agency podcast since Monday is the unofficial start of free agency. So it should be fun. And of course, we've got a new episode of Summer Sessions out right now. So check that one out. So yeah, man, let's get into it. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, man. Some NBA news, and of course, a lot of football action is happening. The offseason is in full swing, man. So gonna start off with my sound off, and this is a real somber one, man. For all Chicago sports fans, it's starting to feel like Lonzo Ball is done. It's starting to feel like Lonzo Ball is done. Of course, we know he has not played a game in almost, in over a year. Hasn't played since January 2022. He's had multiple surgeries, man, trying to fix that knee that got hurt. And it's just not has been good. He's still having trouble even doing simple stuff like walking up the stairs and things of that nature. And now we hear breaking news this morning from Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, that Lonzo might have to get a third surgery to clean up everything that's been going on in his knee. And that would be a 6 to 8 month recovery process, which would, if he gets it right away, would go right into next season for a third, second full season, starting going into it with some injury concerns, man. And Clutch Sports, of course, his representatives say they're still overlooking all options. They don't 100% know what their next move is going to be. But if you look at this for the Bulls, it's a terrible loss. Of course, this is a team that is 10 games under 500 since Lonzo has gone down. He's just something that, Lonzo's play in his, I guess what he brings to the Bulls team really can't be quantified just in numbers. He's one of the best defenders on the team. He's probably the second best three-point shooter on the team after Zach, if you look at everything he's done. And this team has just not been the same. Offensively, we know how much of a struggle this team is. And, he will bring a lot more to this team. And it's really just kind of railroaded, AK and Mark Eversley's whole little, not rebuild or retool plan that they started almost 2 years ago now. And, more than anything outside of the fan aspect and, what this does for the actual team, I just want Lonzo to get better. You know what I'm saying? It's tough to him when you hear guys can't even walk up the stairs. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for them to play with their kids. This is a dude who's younger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm 34 and I'm relatively young. This dude is still in his 20s and he's having problems like this. And, it's got to be killing him that he can't go out there and join his teammates, because of just how much he loves the game of basketball. And, of course, we know the injury concerns that his brother has also. Now, this is a situation for the Bulls because the Bulls are in a fucked up position now. Not only are this a team that's like fighting for, the 9th or the 10th seed in a year that I won't say that I had much higher expectations than what they're playing right now. If you listen to my Bald Online podcast, my third pick podcast with my co-host Mariano, we talk about the Chicago Bulls. And of course, this show, I said multiple times, I had them as like a 7th or 8th seed coming into the season. So they're not playing that much better, that much differently than what I thought they would be. But they're definitely way more annoying than I thought they would be. And this is something going forward where the Bulls have to figure out a way out now. Like, is this something where you maybe you go out there and you go find you a long-term option at point guard, maybe bring back Pat Bev as your backup, because it's obvious that, he's not going to be playing the start of the season, if at all, next season again. So this is something that, they got to find their way out of. The Bulls, if they miss the play-in, they're only a game out right now behind Toronto Raptors and the Washington Wizards, who both lost last night, and they playing like they really, really want the Bulls to make it over them. and the Bulls got a very shocking 20-point win over the number one seeded Denver Nuggets on the road at that. And that was a big win for them, even though I'm fully expecting them to lose to Houston on Saturday, because that's just the trend that they've shown all season. That's just how they are. But if they miss the play in, there's a great chance. There's like more than a 60% chance they're going to lose their pick because of the trade they made with Orlando to get Nikola Vucevic a couple years ago. And now, if it does land the top four, and even lucky, if it lands the top two, the Bulls get real fucking lucky. But they need to figure out what to do. They don't have a lot of cap space. There's been rumors about Zach LaVine not being happy after the trade rumors happened at the deadline. You know, Debo wants a big deal. Vooch wants a contract. And what's really going to happen with Patrick Williams? So the Bulls got a lot of question marks, and this Lonzo situation does not make things any easier. And I just really feel like Bulls fans need to brace themselves for the, at this point, a very, 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 very real possibility that we might have seen Lonzo Ball in his last time in the Chicago Bulls uniform, and maybe his last time on an NBA court. I really hope this isn't a Brandon Roy situation, but every day it's looking more and more like it, man. So Lonzo, keep your head up. Let's get into the NFL, man. Crazy week this week, officially franchise tag week, which is like, the entree, not the entree, but the appetizer before the entree. Of course, last week was the NFL Combine, aka the messy bitch combine, where everybody just gets drunk and just tells, well, let me tell you what I heard, all through Indianapolis. And now this week was, what's going to happen with Lamar Jackson? What's going to happen with Saquon Barkley? What's going to happen with Daniel Jones? And all these little things are just starting to move the things into direction of next week, which Monday is the legal tampering, as they call it, which means teams can start to negotiate contracts and even can announce and even can say that they've agreed to terms, but then they can't actually sign them until 3 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. So next week when we're recording, we'll have a whole gang of shit to talk about, and I might have my brother on here next week to talk about some bear signings. We'll see about that. But everything's going on. But the big question coming to this week is, what the fuck are the Baltimore Ravens going to do about Lamar Jackson? We all knew they were going to try to get him a tag. We've been known for almost a year and a half now that this contract extension was not going to come, and now he got placed with the non-exclusive franchise tag. So for those of you who don't know what that means, or kind of treat it like restricted free agency in basketball. So teams can go out there and they can send an offer sheet to Lamar Jackson and find a deal and then send it to Baltimore. And Baltimore has two options. Either they can match the contract and bring him back, or they can tell him he can accept the offer sheet, and then they're going to do a sign and trade, which they would get 2 first-round draft picks. So any team that has 2 first-round draft picks and they want to get Lamar, you have to trade that before the draft. And if you don't have them, teams like the Miami Dolphins, you got to wait till after the draft to be able to do that. But the thing here that was shocking was not the news they put the non-exclusive tag on him. I think that's pretty much been news for the last couple of weeks. Nobody's really shocked about that. But the thing here is all the teams that came out and said, we're not interested. You've got where it looked like it started to pick up steam that he might be talking to the Atlanta Falcons. That got knocked down by Josina Anderson very, very quickly. And then we hear from the Carolina Panthers saying they're not interested. We hear from the Las Vegas Raiders saying they're not interested. We're hearing from all of these QB needy teams saying they're not interested. And I saw the question on Twitter. Man, it looks like the owners are colluding. Me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I usually don't believe shit is that deep. But then I started watching this shit and just looking at the quarterback, the Washington Commanders. We're good with Tyler Heineke, whoever the hell they got over there. And I was like, I've never seen a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber, a player who is a former league MVP, still in his 20s, in all these quarterback needy teams right away, not days after, but right away saying things like, you know what, we're good. Now, granted, all it takes is one team to say, fuck that shit, and everything gets picked right back up again. We all know that's just how the NFL goes. And also, we're in lion season where you really can't take anything any GM or president says during this time, because everybody's trying to keep shit under wraps. But I will say, I'm starting to think this is collusion. I'm starting to think that this is a silent agreement between owners to, we're not going to get fucked like the Cleveland Browns got fucked last year. And of course, last year, we all know the big courting of the nasty man himself, Deshaun Watson, and just giving him an egregious 235 million all guaranteed deal, a deal we've never seen before in the history of this league last year, to a guy who's not only hadn't played in like 2 seasons, but guy who's had, more allegations than, anybody we can think of in playing football in a long ass time. So, and the Atlanta Falcons were one of the teams who were courting him. So if you courting that nasty guy, but you don't want to do this for a former MVP, for Lamar Jackson, it raises my antennas up, man. So I don't know what the hell is going on. I really think the owners just want to kind of, rebel and say, look, that kind of contract happened once. It's not going to happen again. And we're going to make sure the market gets back to what it used to be. Now, there's multiple ways you can look at this, man, even if we don't talk about the collusion, the possible collusion aspect of it. Actually, I'm not 100% mad at the Ravens. I do feel like they're playing with fire, even though the ball is kind of in the court. I know a lot of people said the Ravens don't have any leverage. Well, that's bullshit. They do have leverage, because it doesn't matter what contract that Lamar Jackson gets. The Ravens can match that shit. So to me, it's kind of like they're like, look, I also think a big part of it has to do with he doesn't have an agent, and I have no problem with, athletes saying, I'd rather take care of my finances myself. That's fine. But I do feel like an agent will help a lot of things that you can't help, like sending messages to the media, the back and forth that agents are really, really good with. Shit, if he want to get the Deshaun Watson deal, he might as well go hire Deshaun Watson's lawyer, David Mulligetta. I mean, if we take away the nasty person that Deshaun Watson is from a business perspective, from an agent perspective, that is the greatest contract ever for an agent. So if he wants that, he probably should go hire that guy. He think he has something in there, on how to get those type of deals together. So this is something that I feel, is going to evolve over the next couple of days. Teams have to have their cap set by this time next week. So I do feel like a lot of stuff is going to pick up on that front, but it's real interesting to me. Now, I also feel like Lamar Jackson hasn't, done himself any favors, by getting hurt. Now we all know getting hurt isn't your fault, but getting hurt definitely hurts him a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't played a full season in like 3 years. So that hurts too. But there's just no reason why there should be this low demand for a quarterback who is a top 10 quarterback in this league. Teams should be falling all over their heels to get this guy, man. So I don't understand that. It just might be collusion, folks. It just might be. Now let's go to a topic that makes me, as you can see the smile on my face, makes me very happy. I'm not going to go fully in on how I really feel about this, because I want to wait till it's finalized. And I guarantee you that I'm not going to hold you viewers and listeners that if and when Aaron Rodgers leaves the Green Bay Packers and joins the New York Jets, you will see a rant like never before. Not just in the history of this show, maybe in the history of sports media. This is going to make Dan Le Batard's Give It To Me Again look regular. Like, I have 16 years of pent up anger inside of me that I'm just waiting to release. I don't give a shit what he does in New York. They can win 10 Super Bowls in a row for all I give a fuck. I just want him out of my yard. And you Green Bay Packer fans, it's going to be very reminiscent of the once king of the South, T.I., calling out Little Flip at the birthday bash back in like 2004. For all you kids who are young and don't remember that, go do your Googles, go watch Beef 3. That's a very good documentary. It's going to be amazing. But the actual news, Aaron Rodgers has come out of his darkness retreat. And we all knew about the rumors about the Jets want to get him. Of course, we all know that they are done with Zach Wilson. I mean, if anybody can see how not just the fan base, I was in MetLife for Mike White's first start. And I saw all those real estate agents and tech bros in that MetLife crowd chanting for Mike White like he was fucking Joe Montana. Like, that's how done they have been with Zach Wilson. So they want a quarterback to help this team, a team that I feel like has a Super Bowl ready defense and some great offensive pieces, man. Aaron Rodgers will do great with Garrett Wilson. Will be great with Garrett Wilson. So I think that'd be a great fit. And I'm just not just saying because I hate that motherfucker. I'm just not saying that. I really do think it will be a good football fit. But he met with Robert Salah, which is the head coach of the New York Jets. They met with Woody Johnson, who was the owner of the New York Jets, and of course his buddy, former Denver Broncos head coach, and now New York Jets offensive coordinator and former Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett in Malibu, California. He met them on the where the plans land. I can't think of the name right now. He met them there, and they had a nice dinner, and they stayed overnight. And there is growing optimism. We heard this morning from Diana Rossini of ESPN, Kimberly Martin of ESPN, saying that the Jets are very optimistic about landing Aaron Rodgers. Also heard on Pat McAfee this morning. AJ Hawk, who was very close with Aaron Rodgers, said he doesn't feel like retirement is out of the question either. And just for the Packers to allow Aaron Rodgers to meet with them tells you everything. We kind of knew that after Packer GM Brian Gutekunst at the combine, he basically said we have to evaluate, what our situation is about really wondering if they want Aaron back. And all Green Bay Packer hate and all Aaron Rodgers hate aside, the Packers are doing the right thing. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is still a great football player. He's only 400 days removed from being an MVP. Now, it should have been Tom Brady, should have been MVP. That's a whole different discussion. But he's 400 days away from being MVP, removed from being MVP, back-to-back MVPs. He can still play the game of football. But when you have a guy that you jumped up to draft, Jordan Love, and his fifth year now, heading into the fifth year of his rookie deal, you got to find out what the hell you got in him. You got to do it, and I really think they're done with this situation. I honestly think it's going to happen. I usually don't like, saying stuff is going to happen when it comes to Aaron Rodgers because 99% of the time I'm wrong, and it blows up in my fucking face. So is it a possibility he could say, you know what? Fuck the Jets, fuck retirement. I just want to go out and retire with the Green Bay Packers. There's a possibility. You never know. Aaron Rodgers is the white Kyrie Irving. You don't know what the hell is going on in this man's non-vaccinated head. But that is a possibility. But I really do think he's going to be a Jet or he's going to be in retirement. Either way, it makes me a happy man. Either way, I am going to collect when it comes back. And I haven't looked forward to a Green Bay Packers game, like legitimately look forward to it in a long time, like probably since the Lovey era where we was kicking the shit out of the Packers when but when Favre was old and they were beating his ass for like 4 years. It's been a while, but trust and believe. If Jordan Love is under center in 2023, oh brother, oh sister, you don't know the amount of shit that I'm gonna talk when the Bears beat their ass. And I just want to be very, very clear about one thing, Packer fans. Lightning don't strike 3 times. I know some of y'all like, well, we have a good history. We back-to-back. We've had Hall of Fame quarterbacks 30 years. It don't strike 3 times, brother. It's over. You're going to know what it feels like to be a regular fan. You know what I'm saying? When you got to wake up in that hick-ass town of yours like, yo, I got to watch mediocre football. There's nothing else to watch because we ain't got shit else to do. We go to a fucking TGI Fridays out here. I'm telling you right now, I can't wait for it. Now, for my Jet fans, friends, I know a lot of them. I know you're happy. I know you're very, very happy. Shout out my man Mike out there. Shout out my man Al Patron. Shout out my man Van. I know y'all happy. But you not going to be as happy as me. I can guarantee that shit. So I'm looking forward to it. I do think by the time we come on the air next Thursday, we will have an answer whether he's retired or whether he is a New York Jet. I'm going to be happy and you're going to get an amazing rant. I promise you that, man. So on to our next topic, man. Another quarterback, a lot of quarterback talk. Mr. Daniel Jones, Mr. Danny Dimes. There was a whole bunch of discussion. What's his contract going to be? He wants $45 million. Who the fuck does he think he is? He isn't Josh Allen. He isn't Joe Burrow. He isn't Patrick Mahomes. She ain't even Kirk Cousins. Who the hell does he think he is? And there was a whole bunch of conversation. Well, if he doesn't get paid, they're going to have to franchise tag him. And that leaves Saquon Barkley to be a free agent. I really want Saquon to be a free agent because I want him to come to death row. But unfortunately, fortunately for him, I don't know the guy. Danny Dimes might be a great guy. I'm not mad at anybody getting any money. Congratulations to you, sir, for getting this ridiculous-ass contract. 4 years, $160 million. He would be getting $35 million in incentives. $82 million over the first 2 years and a first-year cap number of $19 million. This deal looks ridiculous. I think he isn't worth none of the dollars that he's giving them. Despite that, I'm happy he got it because I'm glad when athletes get paid because they deserve it. But man, I don't get this investment here if you're the New York Giants. I've said all last season, I felt like they were hustling backwards for playing as well as they have played and trying to rebuild. They need an actual quarterback. And who's a team you could have called to come get your damn pick? You could have hit the Bears up. Y'all helped us out, was it 2 years ago now, to get my nephew Justin Fields. Y'all helped us out. We could have helped you out again. You could have called the big boss dog Ryan Poles up. We could have helped you out again. But no, you wanted to pay this man. And now you had to franchise Saquon Barkley. Now it's a non-exclusive tag for Saquon, so it's the same deal as Lamar. But I love Saquon, but I'm not trading 2 first rounders for a fucking running back. I just wouldn't do that. So you can pretty much guess that he's going to be a New York Giant next year. But also from another perspective, I kind of get it. And the reason I say that is because you got to look at the market. It's the going rate right now for quarterbacks. And when Joe Burrow signs his new contract, when Lamar Jackson does eventually get the contract that he wants, because I do believe he will get it, whether it's from the Ravens or somebody else, it's going to reset the market again. In like 2-3 years, when you got another TV deal, this contract is going to look like bullshit. That's just how the market goes. So from the actual business perspective, I understand it. I'm just looking at it from on the field. Daniel Jones needs to call everybody on that Minnesota Vikings defense and thank them. Thank them for being so god-awful in that fucking wild card game to make him look like he was actually a great quarterback. You either thank Zadarius Smith, either thank the whole team over there. You thank all them bums for making you look good, man. But salute to Daniel Dimes for getting his money. But Giants, mediocrity is not something you should be happy about. And shout out to Darius Slayton responded to a now deleted Jaquan Brisker tweet with Jaquan Brisker, who was the Bear safety, kind of insinuated that Daniel Jones was trash. And I don't know why he deleted it. Stand on it, my man. And Darius Slayton retweeted it with a picture of the score with the Bears losing to the Giants 20-12 this season. Now, I say that to say this was a great comeback. The Bears did lose. The Bears at the present moment are not a good football team. The Bears, even if they have a very, very successful offseason and draft, they're not going to be a Super Bowl contender. Having said all of that, Jaquan still wasn't wrong because in that game, Mr. Dimes threw for 71 yards. So both of y'all look stupid right now. But that's all I got to say on that one, man. But let's move to the NBA, National Basketball Association, man. We are 5 weeks away from the start of the NBA playoffs. We're about 4 weeks away from the start of, actually not even 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks away. Starting tomorrow, we will officially be 30 days away from the start of the 2023 Kia Play-In Tournament. And there's a whole bunch of things going on, like the West from seed 4 to 13 looks like a war zone. Who knows what those standings are going to look like a month from now? I think the West is going to be cinema. I think we're going to get some amazing playoff series. And I even think the play-in, which I will give Adam Silver this. I am not an Adam Silver fan, obviously. And by the way, Adam Silver might be a great guy. I don't know. I just want to say from a business perspective, I'm way more of a David Stern guy. But the plan was probably his best invention. It is amazing. It makes the games more entertaining. It eliminates a little bit tanking because the Spurs are doing an amazing tank job. The Spurs are doing one of the greatest tank jobs. And honestly, I got to give the Utah Jazz props. The Utah Jazz are orchestrating an amazing tank. Be competitive, get an all-star, host the all-star game, and then still miss the play-in and get yourself to get one of these two studs, Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson. And by the way, I just want to say, it's not hard to pronounce my man's name. I know when he gets drafted, y'all already doing it now. Y'all fucking his name up. Y'all did the same thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's not hard to pronounce his name. It really comes down to the fact that people don't respect you until you actually make something yourself. So stop being that. Pronounce the dude's name right. It's not hard to you. Victor Wembanyama. So they're trying to learn French, both the Spurs and the Jazz. So they're doing their thing on that. But when it comes to the way that the seeds are going, you got to look at this injury that just took place, man. The injury that just took place with Kevin Durant. And I'm mad that I laughed because it's not funny, but when he slipped on that floor, and by the way, it's the second time today before the tip-off of Grizzlies Warriors, Jonathan Kuminga, who's been hooping, twisted his ankle in pre-games in Memphis. I don't know what the hell is going on. But it wasn't funny, but it did look real Bugs Bunny tripping on a banana peel that Yosemite Sam left for his ass. But KD in warm-ups about to make his home debut against who did they play yesterday? The Oklahoma was Oklahoma. Yeah, it was a Thunder against Thunder last night. He's about to make his debut, slipped, and he fucked his ankle up very, very badly. Missed the game. Was in the game when it was in a boot by the end of the game. Him and LeBron in boots now. And the news came out today from Adrian Wojnarowski, and also it was confirmed by the Phoenix Suns through the official Twitter account that Kevin Durant has a grade 2 ankle sprain and will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. Not saying he'll be ready to play in 3 weeks. He'll be reevaluated. The reevaluated word is very scary because you don't know what it means. And same thing with LeBron. Now he's being reevaluated. Zion's been fucking reevaluated since New Year's Eve. So you never know. And I think this is the scary part for the Suns because the Suns ain't doing shit without Kevin Durant, especially after the trade, and they've gotten rid of some of their depth, which is already an issue with KD, like I said on the show last week. But without KD, they're cooked. They're cooked. And if you look at their upcoming schedule, seeding is very, very, very important right now. As of recording, they are the 4th seed in the Western Conference at 37-29. They are 3 games up on the 5-16, which is the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Clippers. And the Clippers and Warriors are tied for the 5th seed right now. So, they've won 4 in a row. Of course, that was with KD in the first week of KD, which I was originally going to come on this show and talk about, was how dominant he's looked in these first 3 games as a Sun. None of that's going to matter if they fall to a late seed or to the play-in. And if he, whether he comes in right for the playoffs and still really not having any type of real play since January, or he misses the beginning of the playoffs because his ankle's still fucked up. Look at these next 10 games, man. They start off against the Sacramento Kings at home. They're the number 2 seed in the West now. Then they go on the road to play the Golden State Warriors. Then they're home against the Milwaukee Bucks. Then they're home against the Magic, which they should be able to win. Then they got a 3-game road trip on the road to Oklahoma City, on the road to play the Lakers, and on the road to play the Kings again. Then they come home to play an MVP favorite and Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers. Go on the road to play the Utah Jazz, and then they're home in their 10th game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you got a lot of teams in there who are in the top of the Western Conference or at in their conferences or fighting for a wild card. It's basically a wild card playing. And I don't know how they're gonna do. They've been real hot and cold without Kevin Durant, and this is gonna be a major test for them. If they can stay in the top 4 seeds somehow, I think they might be fine and they might be able to get through a round if need be without Kevin Durant. But if they drop to a play-in or out of a series where they don't have home court, I don't have that much faith in them, man. I really don't. So this is a massive, massive bummer injury for the Phoenix Suns. There's been a lot of major injuries. Of course, we all know about the Ja Morant situation in Memphis, but now they've lost Steven Adams. He's going to be out for the rest of the regular season. That's a big loss for them. And then they also lost Brandon Clark. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. He has a torn Achilles, so he's probably going to miss all of next season last year. And if you combine that with Ja Morant will be gone away from the team for another 4 games, and even then, it's no guarantee he's going to come back. As the head coach, Taylor Jenkins, said that it's basically a fluid process that they're going to be evaluating. There's a list of things he has to do before he's available to play again. So we don't know if that's going to be this season or not. Good thing for Ja is that the Colorado police are not going to book charges. So it's still in the league's hand. There still might be a suspension coming. So the Grizzlies are not in a good spot right now, not only with the injuries, but with this Ja Morant thing. If you look at another team that's having some injuries, the floundering Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic got hurt last night. He had a clean MRI, but he's going to be out for a little bit. So there's a lot of injuries. Of course, we already know about LeBron and things like that. So it's going to be a real rocky road for a lot of these teams going through the rest of the season, man. So very, very unfortunate situation for Kevin Durant. Now, if we look at the rest of the Western Conference, we got to talk about the Lakers. The Los Angeles Lakers, since the massive trade deadline trade, have been phenomenal. They've only lost 2 games in that span. They've won 2 in a row. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they are now in the 9th seed, tied for the 9th seed with New Orleans, basically. But they are a game removed from being out of the play-in. So they're number 9. If the season ended today, they will be hosting the play-in game against New Orleans Pelicans. And the Pelicans, man, we don't know what's going to happen with them. They got a big win last night against the Dallas Mavericks, but Brandon Ingram's back out of the lineup. Jose Alvarado still out of the lineup. And the news about Zion is really sad. Zion hasn't played since January 1st. And, there's been another setback where they're saying that he is nowhere near close, and it's looking more and more like he's not going to play the rest of the season. And this is just how the story's been for Zion since he's been in the league. When he's actually on the court, he's incredible. He's everything that we thought he would be. And this team was the number 2 seed in the Western Conference before he got hurt, and they proceeded to go on a 10-game losing streak. Now, I know there's been a lot of people that's been in and out of the lineups, but this team should not be playing as bad as they playing, even without Zion. There's got to be something here for them to be able to bounce back in. They shouldn't be just barely clinging for life in the play-in. So if they did play the Lakers today in the play-in, I would say they're going home. Now, as far as LeBron is still going to be reevaluated, and now it's probably like 2 weeks. It's been a week. They said he is starting rehab, so that's good. We don't know if he's out the walking boot or not, but it looks like he's slowly on the recovery trail. Now, I feel like the Lakers have to be smart about whether they want to play him or not. But if we all know LeBron like we know LeBron, I feel like if there's a way for him to get on that court, he will be getting on that court. And honestly, everything is coming up great for the Lakers right now. Not only are they 7-3 in their last 10 games, they have won, let me see right now, 5 of their last 6 games. And it's just been incredible work. And we got to give it to Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, Mr. AD himself. We all know I talk a lot of shit about AD, and it's not because I dislike AD. I mean, really the only thing I dislike about him, he's a Packer fan, but it's okay. We all got our faults, and he ain't gonna have much to cheer about in about a week. Get them Jordan Love jerseys. So that's the only knock I have on him. But the thing that pisses me off about AD is skill wise. We're just going off skill, nothing else. He should be the best player in the NBA. If we're just going off skill and talent, listen to me very closely. I'm not just saying he always be the best player in the NBA. No, off skill and talent, he is more talented, has more skill than maybe anybody in the NBA. He should be in these conversations when we're discussing Nikola Jokic, when we're discussing Giannis Antetokounmpo, when we're discussing Joel Embiid. But he's not. But if he is playing the way he's playing right now, he is balling. And this is kind of, I hate the word legacy, but kind of like a legacy thing for AD. The reason that LeBron James wanted Anthony Davis so bad was so they could kind of like, put the new thing on him so he can age out of his career gracefully, win a couple titles, and then hand the team over to Anthony Davis. That has not happened. Outside of that little span in the bubble, he has not been consistent. I know he's been hurt a lot, but even when he has played, sometimes he hasn't played up to his full potential. But if we're going to get the AD that we've been getting in the last, 5 out of the last 6 games, we know his monster numbers against Dallas. But here are the numbers that he's put up since LeBron has been hurt, since LeBron's been out the lineup. Now, he has played 4 of the last 5 games. He set out the Oklahoma City game due to, it was Oklahoma City game because of low management. But let's go back to that first Memphis game. On the road in Memphis, he had 26 and 19. At home against the Minnesota Timberwolves, he had 38 points. At home against the Golden State Warriors, he had 39 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And, of course, his amazing performance this past Tuesday at home against the Memphis Grizzlies. Again, we put up 30 points and 22 rebounds, looking like young Wilt Chamberlain. So you got to give it to him. If he can continue to keep this up, then if you're the Lakers and you're able to get a LeBron James back and you get yourself a 7-game series, I feel the same. I feel like the Lakers and the Golden State Warriors, of course, if the Warriors are at full strength with Steph, if Kuminga gets healthy, we don't know when the hell Andrew Wiggins is coming back. He's missed 8 games due to personal reasons. So I don't know what's going on in Andrew Wiggins' life. Hope everything is okay. But if he gets back and you got the great coaching of Steve Kerr, they're going to be a problem. All this shit they've gone through, the terrible fucking record they've had, they are the 5th seed. They're only 3 games behind the Suns, who could be ready to go on a losing streak for the 4th seed home court in the first round of playoffs. So same thing with the Lakers. They're able to get LeBron James back. And you got this full team, a team that's believing, and Anthony Davis that's engaged. I wouldn't want to play neither one of them teams. They get the AFC, you're Denver. Do you really want to play the best player of this era? One of the top big men in the NBA? I know they're great. I know Denver's got a lot to prove. A lot to prove. Jokic just got a lot to prove. Do you really want to face the Lakers in the first round? I'm not too sure you do. If you're the Sacramento Kings, if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, shit, even if you're the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, do you really want to face the defending champion Golden State Warriors in the first round? No, you don't. I don't give a damn about that road record. So they're getting waxed right now as I'm watching the game to the Memphis Grizzlies. It's the regular season. When they get healthy, you don't want to play these guys because they know they can win. And the good thing about them winning last year is the young guys got experience. They know what it takes to win a championship. Anthony Davis and LeBron James know what it takes to win a championship, especially LeBron. LeBron's got multiple. You know what I'm saying? They know what it takes to win a championship. Darvin Ham hasn't done it as a coach or as a head coach, but he's done it as an assistant coach and he's done it as a player. He knows what it takes to win a championship. You don't want to play those teams. So I really feel like the arrow's pointing up for the Lakers, and they've got the weakest schedule left in the NBA. There's a real chance for them that maybe, I still think they're not going to make the top six. I think that's a little bit too far to go left. We look at it right now. They are actually, no, they're not that far. They're only 2 games behind the number 6 seed, and they're behind the Clippers. And as a man who covers the Clippers, that 2-game lead is not insurmountable. So they could. There's a possibility here that they would be able to get up there, man. And they've only got about 15 games left, 14, 15 games left. So they probably have to play damn near perfect, but there's a shot. There's a road here for the Lakers. And if you're opposing teams in the Western Conference, you don't want the Lakers and the Warriors to get one of them playoff seeds. You want to keep them in the play-in. Because in the play-in, I can see the Lakers tricking it off. In the play-in game, I can see the Warriors tricking it off. Then a 7-game series with matchups and you get the bounce back, I wouldn't want that. So rest of the NBA, be very wary of the Los Angeles Lakers. Be very wary of the 4-time champion Golden State Warriors. Because both of them teams are coming, man. Now, my last topic before we go to my Goofy Mog of the Week, Boston Celtics. Boston Celtics, man, a team that has been pretty much on cruise control for the whole season, really up until these last couple weeks. A team that is on a mission. They're on a mission to get back what they, failed to accomplish last year in the NBA Finals, losing to the Warriors. We know it's hard to make it back in any sports league, especially after you lose. A lot of teams don't make it back after you lose. So that's something that's been on their goal list this year. But they've been great. But they went from having a nice stranglehold on the number 1 seed to now they're 3 games out in the loss column. Mainly because of just a ridiculous 16-game win streak by the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Bucks now have the number 1 seed. But also they've been tricking off some games. They have lost 3 of their last 4 games. They blew the biggest blown lead in the NBA this year, where they blew a 28-point lead at home to the Brooklyn Nets. Had Mikal Bridges looking like the dude they traded for. Also losing to the Knicks again, losing to the Cavaliers. Been a lot of bad basketball for the Celtics lately. Now, there's a lot of people like, well, it's the end of the season. Things happen like this. And that's true. Things happen like that. Teams, championship teams, we just go through a rut. And I'm not saying that this means that they're in trouble or anything like that. They're still a great team. They'll be there. And I still think we're on a collision course for Bucks, Celtics part 2 this time in the Eastern Conference Finals. I really feel like we're on a collision course for that. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned because we all know how I feel about Jason Tatum. I am not a Jason Tatum hater. I feel like when I have criticisms about people automatically tag me as a hater. Like on Twitter, I am known as a guy who hates Lamar Jackson, which I don't. I don't hate Lamar. I like Lamar. I'm a fan. Just don't think he's best passer. And you guys will never move me off that fact. Same thing here with Jason Tatum. I think Jason Tatum has all the tools to be a superstar. I need to see more when the going gets tough. Everybody loves that Russell Westbrook quote, "Bad bear fool y'all." No, Jason Tatum fool y'all. 100 turnovers in egregious NBA Finals. Just egregious. He disappears too many times. That's been happening over the last couple weeks. And on top of that, I said it last week, I don't know if Joe Mazzulla is that guy who can make the adjustments at the right time in playoff games the same way the guy like Ime Udoka did last season. So I'm concerned for them. I think this is something to look at as they close this season. and something to look at when they get in the playoffs. I'll be very clear here. They need to find a way. Now I think they have like 1 or 2 games left with the Milwaukee Bucks. Those are going to be big games. They kind of need that home court. Same thing with Milwaukee. Milwaukee need to keep the home court because that's going to be very vital. This is a team that they won Game 7 in blowout fashion, mainly because they had home court. This is a different Milwaukee Buck team. This is a Milwaukee Buck team that has a fully healthy Chris Middleton. This is a Milwaukee Buck team who just got Bobby Portis healthy. This is a Milwaukee Bucks team that just added Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles has made big playoff three-pointers. And I really, really love the Jay Crowder signing. You know, everybody's not big fans of Boss Man 99 or the NBA player formerly known as Burner Boy. A lot of people aren't that fond of Jay Crowder, but he is absolutely perfect for this team. They have the old phrase out there. You never want Game 7 when the Game 7 has the best player is on the other team. Giannis is not only the best player in that potential series, he's the best player in the NBA. You don't want that. So if you are the Boston Celtics, you need that. I mean, even last year, and with a lot of things in their favor, they had to go on the road in Milwaukee to still win a Game 6 just to push it to a Game 7. So there's a lot of things I'm working. It could just be a little late season slump, and they'll be fine. I wouldn't doubt if that's the case. But I'm paying attention more to how they close the season up, man, because it might be problematic come playoff time, man. We're going to wrap this up. It's actually a shorter episode than usual, about like 13, 15 minutes shorter than usual. But Goofy Mog of the week, I thought long and hard about this one. I think I'm going to do like a double Goofy Mog. One, I'm going to give Goofy Mog award number 1 to Dylan Brooks. Look, man, sometimes it's great to shut the fuck up. I have no problem with players talking shit. Some of my favorite players are elite shit talkers. But when you're going to talk shit about a guy like Draymond Green, especially the way you play basketball. And I was talking to my homie Pavi about this, super producer Pavi. Dylan Brooks might be the worst player in the NBA who gets the most minutes. It's not a good player. I really loved all the funny comments that came out when he dressed like Stone Cold like a week ago, and people was calling him things like Austin 3 for 16, which I thought was pretty fucking hilarious. But the things he said about Draymond, we knew Draymond was going to come back. And the things Draymond said on his podcast were just hilarious and facts. And people can say whatever the fuck they want to say about Draymond. The Golden State Warriors don't have any championships without Draymond Green. The Golden State, he is the engine behind that defense. He is the heart and soul of that Warrior team. That's just is what it is. I kind of compare it to Joakim Noah. And of course, Joakim Noah doesn't have the success of Draymond. They're both former defensive player of the years, but Joakim was the heart of them teams. You know, Derrick Rose the best player, but Joakim was the heart. Draymond's the heart of the Warriors. And he's go out there as soon as he gets on the Hall of Fame ballot, he is skipping into Springfield. Let's just cut the bullshit. 4-time NBA Finals champion, Defensive Player of the Year, multiple defensive first teams. He's that guy. So you gotta earn a little bit more before you start popping off at the mouth like that. So I'm gonna be my first one to that one. My second one kind of pains me because I really, really like this guy, JJ Redick. I gotta give you Google Mog of the week. The white man came out of JJ on First Take this week, where he was like in just in straight up awe that Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith were like, yeah, you know, racism has a part in some of these voting. Now, there's 2 ways to look at this. I also feel like people are doing too much. I feel like, you know, debate shows have ruined a lot of sports media conversation, and it's taking conversations like MVP, which is supposed to be fun, into non-fun conversations. That's just really how it's changed. So it's not people got to stop acting like it's a bum that might win his 3rd MVP in a row. This is Nikola Jokic, probably the 2nd best player in the NBA right now. Like this is no scrub. I don't give a fuck what he hasn't done in the playoffs. This is a regular season award. We need to keep putting emphasis on that because every time he any MVP debate, well, he ain't made it to the NBA Finals. It's a regular season award, bro. And there's 2 things that people need to let go. The Dirk didn't deserve the MVP shit in 06. 07. Bullshit. I don't give a damn if he did lose to the AC in the first round. In the regular season, there was no better player than Dirk in 2007. Do I think that Steve Nash should be a 2-time MVP? No, I don't. What I don't think, and this coming from a Mamba disciple, is that Kobe Bryant should have won one of them MVPs. Do you remember them Laker teams? And by the way they vote, I don't give a damn how many points Kobe was averaging. By the way they vote, he wasn't gonna be MVP. You gotta do some real historical shit to win a MVP at like 6 or 7 seed. Like you gotta do shit that Russell Westbrook did. So no, that's not gonna happen either. But JJ was just really appalled. Like, so you really sitting up here telling me that these voters are racist? Yeah, it's a great shot. There's a great chance they are. This is an amazing chance they are, because some white people, and I'm not gonna say all, some white people are very racist. So JJ, I don't think he meant anything by it. I think his heart is in a good place. I love his basketball analysis. I watch the JJ Reddit podcast damn near every fucking day. I'm a big fan. But having said all that, man, wake up and smell the coffee, my guy. It is a lot of racist people out here, and it even exists in MVP voting. So that's all I got to say to that, man. Also want to give a quick shout out. Shout out to Paul Gasol, man. Shout out to Paul Gasol, Laker great. Chicago Bulls legend. I'm going to put that little joke out there. But no, he was a great Chicago Bull. Two-time All-Star. He was the Bull. For getting his jersey retired this week. And for the Lakers, his jersey right next to Kobe's 8 and 24, which I think is kind of beautiful symbolism. If you look at the way they have the jerseys lined up there in Staples, where they have Shaq's 34 next to the Kobe 8. They won 3 championships together. And then you have Kobe's 24 next to Powell's 16. They won 2 championships together. So I really like seeing that up there, man. Powell looks like he's a great guy. Anybody have any negative things say about him. I thoroughly enjoyed this time with the Bulls. The 2015 Bulls had a special place in my heart, and I don't give a damn what nobody says. And I know Pavi is going to put in the chat, fuck out of here. If the actual refs would have did their goddamn job and called the fucking tech on David Blatt in game 4 of that series, I believe the Bulls go to the NBA Finals against the Golden State Warriors. We have waxed the shit out of Atlanta. And then Pavi said, in quotes, game 6 happened. Yes, they did go out like some hoes in game 6. But I will say that game 4 would have changed that series. They go up 3-1. I don't think they win. And that's just going to be something I hold on forever. I don't give a fuck. But salute to Powell. I really love seeing Jimmy Butler. By the way, Jimmy's wild funny for leaving Miami, just come to LA for a game to do this for Powell in the middle of a 6-game homestand. But you do what the hell you want. You do what the hell you want when you're the best player on the team. That's what Jimmy Butler is. But it was great to see. Salute to Pau Gasol. I know it started a little debate on Twitter about when I said that I don't think LeBron James should get his number retired as a Laker. And of course, a lot of people with LeBron fans, you don't like LeBron, you just saying that. No, it ain't nothing to do with LeBron. You got to look at it from, I feel like, and I just want to say, I don't think that jersey retirements are like Hall of Fame inductions and shit like that. I don't think it's like that big of a fucking deal. But I feel like for certain teams, like the Celtics and the Lakers, there's a higher bar. I'm not 100% sure Kevin Garnett should be retired as a Celtic. But even he did more with the Celtics than LeBron did. Like, I feel like if LeBron can somehow get this team to another finals or win another championship, for sure, put his jersey up there. Now, I will say, I do think he's going to get his jersey retired. I'm like damn near convinced he's going to get his jersey retired because the Lakers are star fuckers and they want LeBron's number up there with the rest of the Laker greats. LeBron is a NBA great, arguably the greatest player of all time. It's to the point where even me as a Michael Jordan stan, I think Michael Jeffrey Jordan is the GOAT. Nobody's going to change my opinion. But if you say LeBron James is the GOAT, I'm really not going to argue with you. He has a claim to the throne. He's an all-time great player. He's not an all-time great Laker, at least not yet. And then I heard somebody was like, well, Jamal Wilkes got his number up there. This is what I be talking about with debates online in basketball. Man, we go through Jamal Wilkes' Laker resume, 4-time NBA champion, 8 seasons with the Lakers, averaged almost 20 points a game, but every season outside of one. There was even like 2 or 3 seasons we averaged more points than motherfucking James Worthy. Yes, he deserves this number up there. Multiple All-Stars. He is a Laker great. So let's just stop this shit. He has a lot more to do. In his 5 years he's been in the Lakers, he's missed the playoffs 3 times. You as a Laker, you can't do that. If he with the Knicks, sure, put him up there. If he's with the Bulls, sure, put him up there. Sixers, put him up there. The Lakers and the Celtics are the gold standard, bro. It has to be a higher level. So you got to take your fan hat off and put your reasonable hat on. That's all I'm asking for y'all with these conversations, man. But salute to Pau Gasol. Big achievement for him, man. It was great to see Vanessa Bryant be there too, and be there. We all know Kobe wishes he could have been there, man. So Salute the pal. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. Thank you once again for watching and tuning in. Appreciate everybody. We will be back next week. Looking forward to next week because we're going to have some free agency to talk about. Yeah, looking forward to that. Should be a lot of new Bears players next week. I'm excited about that. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers will be out of my fucking life this time next week. So I'm looking forward to talking about that as well. Maybe I'll have my brother Flows join me next week to talk about that. But even if he doesn't, there's going to be a new episode of 79 Hallis dropping on Monday. I think we're going to drop it for the Patreon subscribers first. Don't quote me on that because my brother calls me a capitalist, even though I'm not. It might be on Patreon first. But we're going to have our first of 10 off-season podcasts dropping on Monday. Off-season / free agency preview. And then we're going to be doing position-by-position draft breakdown pods. What offensive linemen should the Bears tackle? Pursue. What about defensive tackles? What about wide receivers? And we're also, whenever the trade happens, because any day now, whenever the trade happens for the number 1 pick, we're going to have an instant reaction for that one. Of course, we're going to be at the draft. We're going to have daily podcasts and videos for y'all while we're down in KC. It's going to be a fun time. Looking forward to it, man. So looking forward to talking about that next week. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at BarbChairScott. Follow HB Media, HB Media TV on Twitter and HB Media on Instagram. Subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/BarbersChair Network. Follow Barbers Chair Network on Twitter and Instagram at BarbersChairNet. Visit the BCNet.com. Yeah, man, we out of here. I'll holler at y'all next week.
Getting paper on display, haters old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna